Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. That's the place to go to get your drip on and add something new to your closet. Okay, today's episode, it's a very special episode. This is something I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I did a past video on this you guys really like, so I just wanted to do like a part 2. And we're talking about generational curses and how does it affect not only adults but kids and just everybody around the people that suffer from this generation curses. And also I have some tips in there how to break out of these things and just live your own life and live a peaceful life. So you guys stay tuned, and if you're new to this channel, do what? Subscribe right now. Go. Let's get it.
Mickey made it. Mickey made what you made, Mickey.
When I was younger, my mother did not tell me the truth about who my father was, and I did not know. And I did not meet my biological father until I was like 27 years old. I found out about him when I was 23, but the Lord did not lead me to reach out to him until I was 27. Even then, that was really difficult to do because my mother was hiding his information. Like, she made it very, very difficult for me to find out who he was. And when I met this man, not only was I like his spitting image, we were so much alike, and my love life all of a sudden made sense. Every single man that I dated or loved was a reflection of him. And I didn't understand how I could be seeking out somebody whom I have never even met or even knew about. Generational curses and familiar spirits are a real thing. When I met him, I began to see a reflection of him in every man that I had ever loved up until that point. And it literally freaked me out. And I remember having a conversation with my dad, the one who raised me, and expressing my frustration as to why I didn't meet more men that were a reflection of him. And this was before I found out. I said, how is it that you're the man who raised me, yet we keep running into men that are like the exact opposite of you? Like, isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Like, the type of men that me and my siblings were dating, the math was not mathing. It was not adding up at all. But once some family secrets started coming out, things started to make sense. And my biological father was like this very well-known revolutionary man. He's very respected, but he also had a lot of trauma and he had a lot of secrets. And baby, I was paying for it. Not only was I paying for his trauma and his secrets, I was paying for my mama's stuff too. And I knew that I was suffering for the sins of my father because when we started to get to know each other, he was telling me everything about his life, things he's been through, stuff that's happened in our family, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you cannot be serious. The price you pay when you don't know stuff is crazy. He told me about all the curses that was on our bloodline. He told me about all the stuff that happens to the women in our family and the men in our family. I was flabbergasted. And he is part of the reason why I take generational curses so seriously. Because how is it that I'm being impacted by a man who did not raise me, that I didn't know anything about, even though I'm under somebody else's covering? This also let me know, like, mothers, if you think you're doing your children a favor by not telling them who their father is and not considering their lineage, their bloodline, and the stuff that's happening on that end, you are not only doing yourself a disservice, but you are opening up a door for them to have so much warfare and be attacked by the enemy continuously. Because you don't know what type of warfare they're going to be under or what type of warfare you're going to have to endure because you're choosing to be ignorant. Did I also forget to mention that this man was a pastor? Yes. And I believe that some of the people I loved was also a reflection of my mother, but my mother more so manifested in the type of friendships that I had. So all of the close girlfriends that I had in my youth were a reflection of her. I didn't have good experiences with women in terms of friendships, and a lot of that had to do with her. And one thing about me, even before I knew about all of this, I never understood the purpose of secrets. I didn't think anything good could come from secrets. And so I really was always that person that kept things out in the open. And I believe that when you have secrets, you're just giving the enemy ammo to use against you. And that's exactly what was happening. Like, all the secrecy on his end and my mom's end was giving the enemy legal rights to torment me in such a massive way. Like, when I look back on my life and I see all the warfare that I went through and how hard things were and how things just weren't making sense, it's because of the things that I did not know. Those secrets aren't serving anybody but the devil. Until that stuff come up and out, that person not gonna know what they battling, and you're not gonna be able to confront the enemy about what he's doing. Imagine it just feels like you getting punished over and over and over again. You like, I didn't do nothing. And the whole time you getting punished for some stuff that your parents is doing. That's why I always make it a mission to live a really holy life, because I don't want my children to suffer for things that I'm currently doing. Like, yes, I was suffering for things that my parents did in their past, but I also was suffering from things they were doing in their present, like as I was growing up, because they did not remain holy and follow Christ as I was growing up. So all that warfare on them was just hitting me. So I say all this to say, secrets ain't serving nobody but the devil. If you have a child, you need to consider their other lineage, their bloodline on each side, not just yours. Just because you don't like that parent doesn't mean you should ignore the things that your child may have because of that parent. Ignoring it is not going to help you either. When you're going to war for your child, you need to be going to war for the bloodline that ain't yours, as well as yours. Lord, I don't know what them other people was doing before I had my child, but whatever they had going on over there, break it off my kid. Do not allow the enemy to have legal rights because of what the other side was doing. And lastly, generational curses and familiar spirits are a real thing, and it can affect your love life as you get older. If you keep attracting the same type of men, you need to be asking yourself, like, what type of man your father was or what type of woman your mother was, because that will show up in your personal relationships or the type of people that you want to have around you.
One thing I've realized is that if you're not careful and you do not actively avoid it, you'll end up dating someone exactly like that one parent that you don't like. How you only date emotionally unavailable men who call themselves nonchalant. A man that shows you no love, no affection, has zero communication skills, exactly like your daddy. Oh, okay. You're attracted to women who are vulnerable and emotionally unstable so that you feel like you can take care of them and you're good for something, just like your mom. Oh, okay. How the only way a man can show you that they really truly love you is through giving you financial means, giving you money, because that's all your dad ever did. That's all your dad ever did, was brought finances to the table. Now, if a man is good and he's kind and he shows you affection, he shows you love, acts of service, everything, it's not good enough for you as long as it's not tangible money, because all your dad brought to your life was financial security. Oh, okay. Last one. You see how you always feel intimidated by women who are strong in their opinion and will tell you that don't do this, I don't like it, because your mom never did that to your dad. So you seek out the woman that will just say yes to everything that you do. Even if you're disrespecting them, even if you're doing something they don't like, even if you cheat, you're expecting them to stay. So you stay away from dominant women, because alfuni, a girl that has inkinga and problems, but you just low-key want your mom who wasn't strong enough to stand up for herself. Oh, okay. As if you're not aware, if you're not looking out, you'll repeat the generational curses and patterns in your family. Avoid them.
You know what I can't stand in black families? Like, I cannot stand the what goes on in this house stays in this house mentality. What I mean by that is when adults do inappropriate things or act an ass in front of children and then expect children to never ever speak on what they have been through or to never ever talk about it. And then when these children grow up and they're all traumatized and they don't know how to work through their issues and so forth and so on, then everybody's just like, well, I don't know what went wrong. What I cannot understand is, why do these adults feel like these children are born needing to protect their reputation? If you don't want your shit getting out, if you don't want your business getting out, don't do it in front of these kids. Especially when you know that it can traumatize or hurt the kid. Mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever the case is. Children are not here to protect the reputations of adults. Do y'all get that? Let me say that one more time. Children are not here to protect the reputation of adults. Meaning, if you out here acting in front of little Tay-Tay and whatnot, and little Tay-Tay go to school and tell them people what the hell going on, you cannot get mad at little Tay-Tay. You cannot get mad. And that whole, oh, what happens in this house, stay in this house mentality, that's how you end up with a 11-year-old pregnant out of nowhere. That's how you end up with a 13-year-old pregnant out of nowhere. I don't know about nobody else, but listen, my kids are free to speak on whatever they like. You feel me? If it needs to be said so that they can heal and they can process whatever they're going through, because my children are not here to protect my reputation. My children are not here to make sure that people don't look at me crazy. I don't care about none of that. If you don't want your shit getting out there, don't be doing stuff in front of the kids that you know is going to affect the kids, and then get mad with the kids when they speak on what's going on in the home, as if they are obligated to keep your secrets. If you don't want it to get out there, don't do it. I hate black families that do stuff like that. Like, Hell no, that's always been weird to me. Children are not here to make sure that adults look good in certain light. Do that for yourself. But then try to sit here and project on a child like they're wrong or they're attacking you because they're letting you know their experience to your bullshit, your trauma, your stuff that you're doing in front of them, around them, and to them. Let's be for real.
Can I give you insight into why you may be a narcissist magnet? Let me tell you something you may not want to hear, but it's going to bless your life. You may be in need of deliverance. Let me explain why. You may be under a generational contract because a great grandmother of yours practiced witchcraft in an attempt to hold on to your great grandfather. Ask your family questions. This was actually very common back in the day. So typically the women couldn't work, or if they did have a job, the job paid 4 times less than what they paid men. So most women can only work as a secretary, a cashier, a teacher, work at a daycare or something like that. Those were the only jobs that women could work. As a nurse, they paid way too little. A woman could not even take care of herself with that wage. Now, also keep in mind at that time, they had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. So grandma could not afford to be without grandfather. The woman typically endured her husband cheating. Matter of fact, the family would ridicule her, say, put some lipstick on, fix yourself up. They would blame her for the man's indiscretions. So if granddaddy was out there cheating on grandma, she kind of got used to it over the course of time. But at some point, he came in contact with that one. I call it the Lula May. Miss Lula May around the corner. He came in contact with, they called him the huzzy. He came in contact with Miss Lula May. Miss Lula May had such a hold on him that grandmother had never seen anything like that. And now he gets home, he starts, maybe he's drinking that moonshine. He started trying to leave his family. He's talking about he don't want to be with her anymore. He's becoming incredibly abusive. He's becoming reckless, and grandma didn't know what to do. So grandma started talking and she asked him questions, and somebody said, that woman got roots on your husband. Somebody got roots on your that woman got roots on your husband. Go over here to Madam such and such, and she can break the curse. That's how the generational curse started in your family. Grandma went and got herself under a demonic contract in an attempt to hold on to granddaddy. Ask questions in your family. You'll find out that this story is very common. Ask questions and post it in the comments if this thing happened to you. Now, that witchcraft altar will remain in your family until somebody addresses it, until somebody speaks to that altar and tells it to fall, until somebody goes through deliverance. That thing will remain in your family. Now, when that thing is in your family, what it does is it puts you under that curse, and with that curse, you will deal with Jezebel. 9 times out of 10, you're a prophet or a prophetic person, but you're going to keep dealing with Jezebel until that altar is destroyed. Now, that's not to say that you won't deal with Jezebel again, but it is to say that you will have the technology, you will have the wherewithal to confront and eradicate that.
There is always that one person within a family dynamic that is almost assigned the role to break generational curses. And that person is usually the sensitive person in the family, the very empathic person in the family, the person in the family that most people would regard as super sensitive, super emotional. The reason why those, family members are sensitive or emotional is because they are the ones that are challenged on a soul level to shift and break out of those generational curses. And if you don't believe in generational curses, it's the same thing as psychology in the sense of family systems. What happens to your mother, to your grandmother, to your father usually happens to the children in the family, and it goes on from generation to generation. So if you're that person in a family where you're the sensitive one, you look at certain things very deeply, you're more than likely assigned on a soul contract to be the one within the family to break out of that generational curse. And the first way of doing it is by literally acknowledging what's taking place in that family.
For the generational curse breakers in the family, all I have to say is get ready. People are not going to like you. They are going to have a real problem with the fact that you are trying to better yourself. They are going to tell you that you think you are all that. All I got to tell you is keep going. It's a reason why they are what they are. If you're trying to go to the next level, you got to leave them where they at.
I told myself I wasn't going to get on any platform and expose or express this, but I'm going to say this the simplest way I can. Generational curses has more depth and more meaning when time jumps or lapses, and also it depends on what is at hand, because I've watched what my parents did to me as a child and couldn't say anything. I was a child. But to see it being done to my siblings' offspring and them not realizing it's the same song, different tune, it's crazy. And then they talk about breaking generational curses. You cannot break a generational curse if you don't even know exactly what the curse is. There's patterns. And if you don't nip those patterns in the bud, you can continue going through a process that's unnecessary. Healing is not just for us. Healing, especially when we've had so much trauma in our childhood, and to see it being put onto our nieces and nephews and cousins, it's painful. It's painful. It breaks my heart to see the things that were done to me as a child. The ripping and running, the here, the there, the no stability, my parents over here, my mom's over there, my dad's over there. And reconciliation doesn't look promising ever. To see it being done again in a different time, but technically the same way, being done to someone who I love and who is so innocent in all of this, it's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. Parents are going to do what parents want to do. I understand why I'm not a parent yet. But this hurts. Just to watch it being done to that innocent child who just had to go along with mommy and daddy say. Generational curses staring you right in the face and you don't even know what that looks like. Really, you're doing exactly what your mother did and thinking that what you're doing is enough and it's okay, and it's not. I can't do this. I'm sitting here watching it hurts. But feelings doesn't matter. It's a principle. It's what's right and wrong. But you can't see you're right. You can't see you're wrong. No. I'm done. I don't want any parts of foolishness. It hurts to see it being done, but I can't stop it. It's not my place. It's not my child.
Your grandmother is not going to be the person that's going to help you break generational curses because she started them. She ain't going to bridge up.
When it comes to generational curses, just remember how you start does not determine how you finish. Educate yourself. Find out more about your culture. Find out more about the people around you. Find understanding in the things that might feel awkward to you, or you might not want to go down that route to educate yourself. Just go through it. In these times, it's detrimental. A lot of people trying to fool people, and always remember, sometimes it's not your fault. You guys leave your comments down below and let me know what you think. And yeah, until next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe,